Hey guys, what's going on? Chrono or Light, like as previous video yesterday, depends on what platform you know me from. This actually came out a day earlier than I was expecting, so it kind of caught me off guard. I was expecting the 5.0 patch notes to actually release after the update for Shadowbringers to be released, but it seems like they're releasing it before, or I guess they've already taken the game down for to get everything ready for the launch. But I was expect the patch notes actually released before Shadowbringers released. So I don't necessarily know how long this video is going to be, and I'm probably going to skim over a lot of stuff, especially like crafting, because although I do have 70, all my crafters not necessarily maxed out, but they're highest level and at least have the highest gear. Excuse me. Uh, I may skip over it because it's something that I'm not too familiar with and am an expert on. But without further ado, let's actually get into this. Is there actually the complete notes, as I should state? The preliminary notes actually came out yesterday, and the actual patch notes came out a day later. But let's see. Face myriad pairs of land unknown. What how you do so will be up to you. Whether you choose to fight. Let's see. That just kind of gives you a general idea of what's going to be going on. Additional features will be implemented in future updates. Eden's Gate, the raid, is scheduled to release in 5.01. Uh, Treasure Hunt instance. Okay. The Dungeons of Lygia, and Eden's Gate Savage are scheduled to release in 5.05. Restoration of Holy See of Ishgard and New Game Plus. I'm not entirely sure what the New Game Plus is, but they're planned for 5.1 or later. So I figure they may be planned for the same release, but the restoration is probably going to start at 5.1, and New Game Plus is just something they're kind of working on. Like I said, I don't really know the exact details. And we got the Shadowbringers trailer. Let's see, playable content areas, new cities have been added. The Crystarium, I think that's going to be the new hub. Yulmore, well, that's actually pretty nice. New field areas have been added. Lakeland. I'm really curious to see how all these new areas work. I know, or if they're going to add some new form of transportation. I highly doubt it. But we got flying in Evansward. We got swimming, or not really swimming, but diving in Stormblood. It'd be cool if they added something else, but like I said, I highly doubt they will. I'm actually seeing. I actually want to see how well these new areas look, because Heavensward areas I wasn't really a big fan of, especially what was it, Dravanian Hinterlands, the area that had two entrances or not really two entrances. No, it had two entrances from Idleshire, but there was no crystal or no Aetherite crystal in the hinterlands, and you had to go from Idleshire and enter, or go from, oh god, I think it was maybe the Forelands from the other side and enter, and it was a large area. You had to fly. It was a mess. But I'm actually curious to see how well these new areas play, because it seems like I don't necessarily know why they did the Heavensward areas like they did, but it seems like they did it a lot better with Stormblood. And going by pictures, it looks like Shadowbringers is going to have fairly good designs as well. Let's continue. New city and field Aetherites have been added, of course. Quests. Let's see. As such, there may be cases where the patch notes only cite initial quests in a series or mere quests. The players, of course, they're just trying to avoid spoilers here. Let's see. Sickers Trench, some word, or magic level 70. So this, I believe, I'm 99% sure this is going to be the quest that actually starts the Shadowbringer storyline. This right here. Going to start in the Writhing Stones, and I know it's probably a little bit too late, but I know a lot of people have been saying do not, you know, exit or log out of the game in cities or Mordana because a lot of people will be there, probably because they were close to a market board at the time. And Mordana, will be the starting point for the next expansion. See, new side story quests have been added. Side story quests added in patch 5.0 now implement an automatic level adjust system known as Quest Sync. So there are certain side quests that I guess you will have to be a certain level to do, but a lot of them, there's going to be new ones. I say a lot, but don't really know how many. There's going to be new ones where you can basically do it at any level, I guess, and the quests will actually sink down to your level and I guess give you XP. Yeah, it'll give you XP based on what level you are. And you have the new role quests. So, was it healers, magic damage dealer, melee damage dealer, and tanks will all have role quests that start at level 70 and go all the way up to 80 because they removed the class quest. And each class will have a level 80. Well, they haven't really removed the class quests in entirety. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning and I'm not really awake. They haven't really taken the class quests out entirely, but they made it to where your class quests will be at level 80 and level 80 only. And role quests will fill in between. And of course, you have to do at least one series of role quests to complete the main scenario. We're not really sure what these are all going to consist of, but it looks like okay, so they're all going to be based out of the hub, the Crystarium. Additional quests. Okay, so there's going to be an additional quest where you have to complete the main scenario and complete 4 role quests. So that means you'll have to do one for the melee DPS, one for the magic DPS, one for the healer, and one for the tank. This is just going all the job quests at level 80. Not really worried about those. I mean, we all knew they were going to be there, just didn't really know how they were going to work with the role quests. Got the new Crystarium deliveries. Questarium deliveries are a new type of custom deliveries. Each type of hand or land will be able to progress through one of 5 series of quests associated with different facets of the crystalline mean. Completing deliveries will advance the story of that particular facet. Because Crystarium delivery quests rewards include crafter scripts and gather scripts, players must complete the quest in scrutable taste before undertaking deliveries. I can't remember exactly where that, if that's an older quest or a newer quest. I'll have to look into it. Like I said, I do have my crafters maxed out, but I'm not the biggest on crafting. I just kind of have it, just in case I need something. So, see, moving on to support new and returning players, additions and adjustments have been made to rewards for certain main scenario, side story, and job quests. So, probably maybe reduce difficulty somewhere. That's probably a stretch, but they've added in bigger rewards to kind of help you stay caught up in extra XP. And why did something from Steam just pop up out of nowhere? That's cool. Uh, New league quests have been added for Disciples of Hand and Land. We all kind of knew that was coming. That's probably the main way you level up for crafters and gatherers. Tradecraft and Fieldcraft league quest rewards will be significantly reduced when you see a class at 70 or above to complete a leave with the level requirement of 70 below. That's kind of standard. They make it to where you get a maximum base. I think it's like 10,000 XP for leaves that are 70 and below when you're above 70. They did it for Heavensward. They did it for the beginning of Stormblood. Moving on, fates. New fates have been added. Players receive bicolor gemstones upon completing fates in 5.0 areas. This currency can be exchanged with gemstone trader NPCs for various goods. This is a picture. Okay, I can't really. Can I? Okay, yeah, that really didn't help at all. But that's a picture of one of the gemstone traders. Furthermore, as you complete fates in new areas, gemstone traders will offer a wider selection of items to review. To view your progress in each area, select shared fate under travel in the main menu. That's kind of what the UI will look like. Treasure hunt. The following additions and adjustments have been made to treasure maps: glider skin treasure maps and Sonir skin treasure maps. I guess that's how you say it. I don't fucking know. Have been added. Rewards for Wyver skin, Gagana skin maps have been adjusted. Allagan Tombstone's reward of completion treasure maps have been changed from Tomes of Mendacity to Tomes of Genesis to Tomes of Poetics, because they are taking Mendacity and Genesis out and making Poetics the base low tier tombstone. Players will now be seeked to level 70 when entering Lost Canals, Hidden Canals, and shifting altars of Uznair. Granting free companies additional items will now be accepted for supply and revisioning missions. The display of submersible parameters has been adjusted. I don't know anything about this. People in my FC do this. I'm not even a part of it, so I don't know exactly what this is. Blue Mage, Gunbreaker, and Dancer symbols options have been added to company crests. Okay, moving on to housing. Furnishing from the 14 furnishing design contests have been added, and I'm sorry if you hear a weed eater or a lawnmower outside. I'm doing this early, and today is the day, I guess, that they mow the yard and weed eat. But moving on, new furnishing has been added, of course. Blue Mage, Gunbreaker, and Dancer gear has been added for mannequins. That's nice. New estate tags have been added. A preview function for furnishings has been added. I know there's a lot of people have been asking for something like this. Using this function, players can confirm the size and color of furnishings, including those they do not yet own, before they are placed on the estate ground. So I guess you can, if I'm understanding this correctly, you can look at how something would look even though you don't have it crafted yet or haven't collected it yet. Using the furnishing preview, that just kind of tells you how to use it. Only one furnishing can be previewed at a time. Only certain furnishings such as vendors, mannequins, retainers, feast rewards, seasonal event rewards, and optional items from the mock station cannot be previewed. So there is a restriction on what you can't preview and how much you can preview, at least at one given time. The restrictions on exterior fixtures based on housing award have been removed. Players can now use exterior fixtures associated with any district for their state. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. Then again, I've only owned one house in the game, and I lost it because I didn't log in for a long time. So yeah, I wouldn't really know about that. A help interface will now be displayed when speaking with the resident caretaker about housing features. Crafting facility furnishings can now be used by crafting classes up to level 70. That's good. In accordance with the increased character level cap, level 80 Crystarium striking numbings have been added. That'll be nice. I'm sure my FC will get one very soon, as we have a lot of master crafters, and the FC's been around since the beginning of A Realm Reborn for the most part. New Orchestrion roles have been added, of course. New Aquarium fishes have been added, of course, because there's going to be new stuff to get equestrian roles from, if I could speak. And of course, there's going to be new fish. Excuse me. A new seed for flower pots has been added. You can, excuse me again. You can now get hydrangea seeds. If I ever get a room in my FC house, I'll probably put these up in there. The Manderfield Gold Saucer. New prizes are available for purchasing using NGP. That's a given. New expansion. Of course, they're going to add new stuff. To buy, the following additions and changes have been made to Triple Triad. Of course, new cards, new NPCs. All this right here kind of comes with the expansion. The additions and changes have been made to the Doman Mahjong. An option to reset rank and rating has been added, and an image of your character will now be displayed when playing. Let's see, display of calls can now be canceled by right clicking with your mouse. An icon will now be displayed to indicate when you enter Furiton? Furiton? I don't really know. The auto declare winning hand feature has been added, and it can be toggled on at the start of the hand. It will default to off once a new hand begins. And I'm sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. With an option to declare Ron or call. What? When the options to declare Ron or call appear simultaneously, declaring Ron will cause option to call to be skipped automatically in the event of a draw. 10 pie and no 10 unavailable to call. A winning hand will be indicated for the corresponding players. When a player discards a tile, there's a certain probability of a short delay occurring even when no other players call on that tile. I don't really know how this was before. I had always wanted to play Mahjong in the game, but never really got around to it, and haven't really wanted to since. So I'm kind of out of the loop on this. But I guess the reset your rank would be nice. Maybe. I don't know. Miscellaneous players can now select the Rothgar and Vieira races. I don't know about the Rothgar. I know Vieira has been wanted for a long time, especially after Fran was in Stormblood for the 24-man raids. It doesn't seem like they'll be giving us this Fantasia this time around, though. I know they gave us a Fantasia when they released the new race for Heavensward. And if they don't give us Fantasia, it's not really that big a deal. I know I probably won't be changing my character, mainly because I know the Vieira are a generally tall race. So I don't really want to have a really tall character. I like having a shorter character. But it's just personal preference. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the sightseeing log. Shadowbringer's entries have now been added to the sightseeing log. Entries can now be completed regardless of class or job. That's nice. The following additions and changes have been made to the challenge log. New categories have been added. Category In Your Fate 1 and 2. Of course, complete 5 fates or 10 fates with the highest rating possible. And then the following categories have been removed. Fated to Wander received the highest rating possible in 5 different regions. And then Embrace Your Fate successfully complete 10 unique fates. And then, of course, coinciding with the increase in level cap, experience points awarded upon completing challenge log objectives have been increased. That's nice because nobody wants to be earning the same old XP for challenge log, especially when a lot of them, the first step, give you like 300k. Put my glasses back on. Chloe's bronze certificates of commendation have been added as rewards for completing the Wondrous Tales. I know people still do the Wondrous Tales, but it has been so long since I've actually gotten a book because I don't. It's not that I don't like doing the book. I just hate playing a lot of the older content. Certificates can be exchanged with Chloe for a number of unique prizes. Scoutwatcher NPCs have been added to new areas. I think this is basically just for certain fish, unless they add a certain weather that it has to be for S rank hunts to spawn in, which I don't know if they have any of those now, but I've been out of the hunt game for so long. It'd be nice if they added it if they don't have it. New emotes have been added. Of course, show off new hairstyles here. Now, on to the battle system. Of course, we all knew this was coming. The level cap has been been increased to 80. Gunbreaker and Dancer have been added, and they start at level 60. We all knew that long before the patch notes or the preliminary patch notes. Uh, Here, the Gunbreaker will be at the Archers Guild in New Gridania, and the Dancer will be in the lower decks of Lamenza. In accordance to the addition of these new jobs, gear for Gunbreaker and Dancer have been added to rewards for certain duties and will now be sold by merchant NPCs. Additionally, Gunbreakers and Dancers will not receive the first time completion bonus from Guild Heist. That's not that big of a deal. The Guild Heist bonus is very low now, especially considering I think the last Guild Heist is level 40. So it's after Heaven's Sword, the XP you get for actually sitting through a Guild Heist it's not even worth it. New job actions have been added. Looks like we have a trailer again here. Oh, this is the trailer for the new job actions. Okay, that makes sense. Substantial revisions have been made to the battle system. Uh, they got a link here, tells you, I guess it gives you an idea of what's going on. Umbral Ice now also reduces the MP cost of ice spells, and looks like it stacks because it says the effect increases with each stack gained. Enmity gain for certain healing actions have been reduced. That's good. I know they were taking away DPS stances for tanks and adding in tank only stances. To improve player usability, the time frame within which players must execute actions to continue or complete combos has been extended. I guess that kind of helps with latency issues, maybe. A fixed set of role actions has been assigned to all jobs. Players will now learn role actions as they level up and will no longer be required to select a subset of these actions to be used in combat. I actually like this change. If this is what I think it is, and they're taking away the whole role selection from the traits and actions menu, this will actually work out really well, especially if a lot of the classes learn these same role actions at the same level. But we'll have to wait and see how that actually works out. I'll know as soon as possible tomorrow. See, the following adjustments have been made to limit breaks. The rate at which the limit break gauge fills when using healing actions has been reduced. The limit break gauge will no longer fill when non-healer jobs use healing actions. I didn't even know that was a thing. And the rate at which limit break gauge fills in new areas when taking damage from enemies under certain conditions has been reduced. I don't know if it still does it or not. I knew back in A Realm Reborn, I think you could run and it would increase the limit break gauge slightly. I don't even know if that's still a thing or if it was in the beginning. That was back when I was, I was playing, but I wasn't really focused on raiding and being the best. I was just kind of playing for fun, which I still do, but it's my focus was on something completely else instead of what it is now. The interrupt effect has been added. A gauge indicating when actions can be interrupted has been added. Player actions with this new effect can prevent the execution of enemy abilities when used before this bar. Okay, I'm reading way too fast. With this new effect can prevent the execution of enemy abilities when used before this bar can be filled. The following actions have this effect: Interject, Head Gaze, Head Graze, Flying Sardine, and Bad Breath. Updated Thursday, June 27th at 4:30. It kind of gives you a bar telling you when something can be interrupted. In accordance with this change, the silence effect has been removed. Here's a big change for a lot of stuff. The charge actions have been implemented. These actions allow players to expend charges to execute them multiple times in a quick succession. The recast time for these actions determine the rate at which charges are accumulated. The number of charges for these actions can be confirmed via their action help text. Restarting a duty will fill all charged actions to a maximum. And it gives you, uh, I can't even think of the word. Uh, it shows you that intervene and it has 2 charges, and I believe this is the new paladin skill, the gap closer for paladin. Yeah, of course, if I would have looked at it, I would have known. And right here, you see you get it at level 74, and it has a charge time of 30 seconds. Now, this, even though Shadowbringers releases tomorrow, and we are in a phase of where they take the game down to actually update it and implement everything. This is still subject to change until the Shadowbringers actually releases. Certain weapon skills and spells will now have unique recast timers. These actions are still affected by global cooldown timer. They will not share a recast timer with other weapon skills. A timer will display over the icon of weapon skills and spells with unique recast timers. Air Anchor shows level 76 skill for Machinist, delivers an attack potency of 700 and increases battery gauge by 20. This action does not share a recast timer with any other actions. The following adjustments have been made to pets. Pet actions have been removed. Here's a big change to Summoner and Scholar. Actions that previously qualified as pet actions have been incorporated into player actions. Actions executed by pets have been moved to the pet category of the actions tab. Certain actions cannot be executed manually. So I guess they've shown they moved the actions to the category to show you what they do, but you actually can't select any of them manually except for the ones where you actually move the pet wherever or tell them to obey. Pets can no longer be targeted by player or enemy actions. Attacks performed by a pet will generate enmity for the player who summoned it. Okay, that's nice. Pets will no longer be displayed in the party list, and pet HP will no longer be displayed when targeted, because I don't think your pet can technically be killed anymore. Player attributes have been adjusted as followed. TP has been removed. That right there, I've been waiting. They added in the TP bar at one. I think it was in Stormblood. But I am so glad they took the TP away. It is such a hindrance when you say like a monk or maybe a dragoon, when you die and you get rezzed and you come back with fucking 200 TP and you're trying to start a rotation and get back into the swing of doing damage and dodging attacks and going through a solid and decent rotation only to run out of TP a few seconds later. I know they've had ways to kind of remedy that over the years, but I mean, really, nobody uses goad, and Invigorate is just kind of there. Plus, the fucking recast time on Invigorate is ridiculous. The MP bar displayed when running Godwalkers in Alexander, Cut for the Father, and Alexander, Cut for the Father Savage has been replaced with an EP bar. So anything that uses TP as far as actions or certain parts of the story where you had to use TP for something, they have an EP bar for that. Maximum MP for all jobs has been fixed at 10,000, and the MP cost of actions has been adjusted accordingly. I actually didn't know about this until I saw the preliminary patch notes yesterday, and I'm curious to see how well this is going to work. See, the effect of piety, I still don't even know how to fucking pronounce that, has been changed from increasing maximum MP to increasing MP regeneration rate, and like tenacity only affecting tanks, this attribute only affects healer classes. Parrying is now less effective in reducing damage, and blocking is now less effective. Eh, we'll see how that plays out. In accordance with changes to player attributes, the effects of certain. I thought I was about to have to sneeze. In accordance with the effects of certain monster and NPC actions have been adjusted. Party bonus effects have been adjusted. Players will now receive a 1% increase to strength, vitality, dexterity, mind, and intelligence for each unique role in their party up to a maximum of 5. So we kind of all knew, or not really all knew, this is kind of going to play factor in Savage mode to where now people are going to want, you know, one of each role, really. I mean, you'll have, out of the 8 roles that you can have, of course, you'll have your 2 tanks, your 2 healers, and that'll take up 2% of the 5. But now you'll want a magic DPS, a melee DPS, and a physical range DPS, and then probably another DPS to fill in with whatever, just so you can get that bonus. And of course, with the increase in stats we're probably getting, this increase will factor in a lot more than it would before. The 100% increase in EXP gained, granted by the armory bonus, now applies to all jobs below level 70. In accordance with the increase in level cap, bonuses for new worlds and preferred worlds are now applicable up to level 69. We got the new dungeons. Got screenshots of it. Looks like there's a trailer there for new dungeons. I actually like the design of this dungeon. I saw this picture yesterday. Excuse me. I saw this picture yesterday. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. EXP change bonus in Instance dungeons has been removed. I don't even know why that was a thing. The trust system has been added. This allows you to challenge main scenario dungeons with a party of allied NPCs. Parties must be composed of the basic 1 tank, 1 healer, 2 DPS. This right here, this feature cannot be used while in a party with other players. So you have to be solo, which would be perfect for the solo players, and mainly the solo players that play DPS. And of course, it's main scenario dungeons, so it's basically going to be from dungeons from like level 71 to 79, and that'll probably be it. Using the trust system, this kind of goes through what all the trust system is and tells you how to use it. Item level sync has been applied to certain instance quest battles. In accordance with the increased level cap, players can now gain experience from level 70 dungeons and the 4-point X raid dungeons. The raid dungeons, I don't really know if it's worth it to go over there for the XP, unless you're just trying to actually get glamour from it. And honestly, I don't remember the gear from that actually looking that good. Got the new trials. I forgot the name of her. Is it Titania? I don't know why I'm thinking Titania. I have no idea about this one. Echo will now be applied to all 4.x trials. The strength of Echo granted in Omega Alpha Scape Savage has been increased. Echo will take effect upon entering instead of after death. And of course, like usual, after an expansion, the old Savages get increased by 20%. And here it says, the strength of Echo will not increase in the event all party members are incapacitated. That's fine, because if you're going in there unsynced, level 80 geared out players,